We have only 3 more weeks to go before we can finally play Fantasy Life: The Girl Who Steals Time. I know I've talked your ears off about my love for the 3DS version, and it's all for the right reasons, and with this one, I'm even more excited about it. Level 5 has been showcasing a lot of gameplay recently, so we have a good idea about what to expect. And by the way, the Switch pre-orders go live today, whereas PC and other consoles are already available to pre-order. So before you hit that checkout button, let me show you everything that you need to know, from gameplay mechanics, the open world, what to expect, including crucial information about cross saves, what kind of editions are available, and so on. I will be streaming the game when it goes live for early access on May 18th on Steam, so make sure to squish the subscribe buttons, and I will also be reviewing it for you. Now, taking a quick spoiler-free look at the story, we are setting sail with Edward, an archaeologist, and as we're following the guiding light from a fossilized dragon, we stumble across a desolate island. Before we reach our destination, a dragon attacks, and as the fossil awakens, it turns out to be a bone dragon, so a fierce battle breaks out. We chase the dragon through a gate that appears out of thin air, and on the other side, what do you know, we've got a peaceful place, so we're gonna be discovering the island's untold secrets. So far, we see a few characters we're gonna meet, each with their own requests and agendas, like Rem, for example, who wants you to destroy the gear for whatever reason, and Renoa, who's Rem's older brother. He has his own journey of leadership that he's on, and we also have some mythical creatures like Trip, who gets access to a translation device and starts to speak. I hope that the plotline will be a lot more engaging than the one that we've had in the 3DS, but so far, I'm intrigued. Now, Fantasy Life is bringing back character customization that we've seen in the 3DS version, but this one comes with more flexibility. And the good thing is, if you want to change your look after the game starts, you actually can. And the customization is extended in this one, so not only are you going to customize your character, but you're also creating your own island. So you can change the terrain, you can add and remove buildings, and decorate. The terraforming aspect looks very smooth and fluid. Based on the trailer, the camera looks easy to work with, where the camera is far enough so we can see everything we're doing. But we're gonna have to try it out and see for ourselves. And it's important to note that adding features like motion blur toggle off or FOV sliders will be a godsend, especially if you're like me, and I know a lot of you are, if you struggle with motion sickness, and first-person point of view usually makes you just feel sick and nauseous. I really hope Level 5 is adding these accessibility features. The customization, though, doesn't stop here. It extends to our home as well, where we have a variety of furniture, wallpapers, and floorboards to use. This trailer that dropped today shows us this kawaii cute room with adorable decorations, so I can't wait to see the items that we can both make and also buy to create our cozy homes. Another big part of this game is the fact that we're exploring an open world called Ginormosia. And thank goodness we are gonna have a mini-map to help us traverse. The mercenary gameplay trailer also shows us an overall map which we can use, and it seems like these features are gonna make traversal a lot easier. We also have fast travel points like the one we see here, and that lets us quickly teleport from one area to another. We also have this overworld map here, and there seems to be a lot of land to discover. However, I hope that the world doesn't feel empty. Looking at the screenshots provided on the official website for the game, I see a lot of empty land, so only time is gonna tell us how lively and fun exploring these areas will actually be. And with that comes a set of traversal points, from climbing ledges to swimming and using mounts. The towns, by the way, look very lively with shops and NPCs around, but the NPCs seem to be the same as the 3DS version. You can see them just standing around, they're not doing anything apart from selling you stuff or maybe giving you some quests and having a few lines to say to you. We've also seen this notice board with a notification on it. In the 3DS entry, we can unlock notice boards after completing the 4th chapter of the main story. So it might be locked behind story progression in this one as well. And these notice boards are where you can access villager requests in return for some rewards. We also got to see the general store in this trailer, and it's pretty small. So are pretty much all the shops in this game based on what we've seen so far. This trailer also shows us chests that we can collect for various materials like this red one on the beach. We also learned that we have a similar feature to Breath of the Wild. So here we have like this pad where we can register different areas we find, but I'm not so sure what the purpose is since translating these pictures was a bit difficult. We also know that areas have different ranks, which is gonna determine the level of the monsters we'll find. We also see that walking on foot in the desert, for example, will deal damage. So this is where you're gonna need a mount for safer travels. We have these tree saplings that we can grow, and when you enter them, they will give you ever-changing dungeons where every time we go in, the layout is going to change and we're gonna get plenty of rewards. I'm very interested in seeing how these dungeons are going to evolve through our gameplay because I love dungeon crawling, so this is going to be fun to explore. We also see that there are phantoms out and about that we can defeat, and we can recruit a companion one at a time to help us defeat them, and these companions will be with us for a limited time. But of course, you also get companions just like the 3DS version to help you in the game as well. Also, I don't know if you've seen these shrines, you come across them, you've got some puzzles inside to solve. You know me, I suck at puzzles. But this one here seems fairly simple, however, I'm pretty sure shrines will get increasingly difficult. By the way, let me know, are you like me? Do you absolutely hate puzzles or are you good at them? This is a judgment-free zone. If you're like me, skill issue, but it's okay to have skill issues, I'm not gonna judge you. Anyways, most importantly in this franchise, you have the previous 12 lives, including 2 new ones. So usually, if you don't know, these lives fall into different categories, which can give you a look at what the main gameplay loop is gonna be. Combat lives require a lot of battling enemies, so that includes the Paladin, Mercenary, Hunter, and Magician. Gathering category requires you going around to different areas and gathering resources. This includes Miner, Woodcutter, Angler, and Farmer. Farmer is one of the new lives that has been added to this entry. And the final category is crafting. This is going to include your cook, your blacksmith, carpenter, tailor, alchemist, and the newly added life, artist. And thankfully, we've been getting a lot of gameplay trailers to showcase these lives for us, so let me show you a few of them. By the way, you can unlock these lives at the guild office, and actually, the game requires you to switch between them to properly progress. So for example, if you go with the cook, you're still gonna require some farming and angling to get the ingredients. Or if you go with carpentry, you're still gonna require wood cutting to get resources, etc. In this recent gameplay trailer, we see that after you sign up for a new life and you become rank 1, it's very easy for you to switch between lives. This is such an incredible quality of life feature. If I remember correctly, in the 3DS version, you had to go to the guild office every time to switch. However, they're making it a lot easier in this entry. All you have to do is approach a gatherable spot and switch your life, or you can draw your weapon when interacting with a workbench to automatically switch to crafting life. So within the combat lives, a paladin lets you use a sword and a shield, as well as some abilities to deal extra damage. We can also roll out of enemies' way to avoid them from landing strikes on us. And of course, it's important to note that under these combat categories, you're gonna have a variety of weapons and gear to obtain and use, and this is gonna make you a lot more powerful, but also more resistant to attacks. Mercenary life is all about your great sword. A great sword means that you're gonna be slower to attack, but you're gonna deal a lot more damage. And you're also gonna learn fun combos to maximize your damage output. In this life's trailer, we can see that, again, you can roll out of the enemy's way, which is great. And you can also use charge attacks to deal extra damage. Magician lets you use magic and your staff. The Hunter is all about using your bow. Now, under the Gathering Lives umbrella, we have the Angler, which is perfect for those of you who love fishing. For example, we see this fishing minigame to reel in the plains lordfish, which is at level 12. And the trailer gives us a tip saying that adjusting the rod and remaining calm when the fish starts to move quickly is gonna be a good thing. And they also say that we can use special techniques to completely drain the fish's life. I hope fishing won't be too complex, as most games can be tedious with it, and in the 3DS entry, getting a fish was not the easiest, especially when it comes to rare fish spawning for you. And this is where it's very important for me to remind you, if you've forgotten, or to let you know if you don't know, that this game is an RPG. There's gonna be a lot of stats that you're gonna allocate your points into. So it's very important for you to know what kind of lives you're gonna be maining and what stats you want to allocate your points into. Otherwise, things are just gonna come back to bite you in the butt. Now, most of these points will have some sort of influence on the life you pick. So for example, strength is crucial for mining and woodcutting, fighting, as well as the attacks, except for the attacks that come from your bow and dagger. Or focus helps you a lot with cooking and fishing, whereas intelligence is a must for alchemy and magical defense as well as magical attacks. So this is how things were in the 3DS version. We'll see how they'll be adapted to this new Switch and all of the Girl Who Steals Time version. Back to the lives, Woodcutter is about using your axe to chop down various trees, and in this gameplay spotlight trailer, we can use different strikes to deplete a tree's HP bar and gather its materials. This consumes SP based on the type of attack you use, and we see this feature called Excellent Gathering. Basically, inflicting a large amount of damage on the last hit is gonna yield a lot more materials than normal. In the Woodcutter life, you'll be looking for the sweet spot on a tree to deal the max amount of damage, so you can see that the character tests out different hits on the tree until they find the sweet spot, which gives you the damage number in pink, meaning you're dealing max damage. The Farmer life is the new life that lets us tend to crops. We've seen a bit about it. For example, we have these 3x3 plots with some carrots ready for harvest, and you're gonna need to hit them a few times to pick them up. Or if you use your dig ability, you'll use your stamina up slowly, but you can also charge up and harvest the entire area in one go, which is gonna take up a fair chunk of stamina, but it's gonna be a lot easier. We also see this massive crop ready to harvest. I feel like the dedicated trailers for these lives, Farmer and Artist, are gonna come last, so I'm eager to see a bit more about them. But until then, the small bits and pieces that we've seen so far gives me like a bit of excitement that they're probably gonna be fun to play, but we'll see. Now, the miner life is perfect for those of you who love exploring mines in games. This one also got a gameplay trailer where they showed us how mining works. Basically, you go to caves or various outdoor locations to find ores, and you have to deplete the ore's HP bar to grab its materials. This also requires SP. You can do regular attack or a powerful attack, and you're gonna be looking for the perfect spot yet again to hit in this one to do the most damage. Now, we've been warned in all of these gameplay trailers that once our stamina runs out, we won't be able to do anything anymore. So this is where you can use SP potions and elixirs to get your bar full again, or you can eat dishes that you've cooked to help remedy that. In the 3DS version, your SP automatically restores as well, but it will be slowed down when you were in combat. And the biggest category of them all, we've got the crafting one, and in this one, you're gonna get access to the Alchemist life, where you can craft various potions, bombs, and accessories. Note that all of these lives have this minigame that you need to pass, and it's gonna impact how good your crafted item is gonna be, as well as any added boosts or stat effects that it can get. Cook is all about cooking food. This one has a gameplay trailer already where we get a look at the minigame required to make different recipes. Basically, these minigames usually revolve around quick button presses on your controllers, so they might test your reflexes a little bit. In this trailer, our character is making the Great Prairie Stew, and as you can see, different recipes require different cooking levels to unlock, and each recipe is gonna have a variety of required ingredients. So this is where, as I said before, you're gonna have to switch out between the different lives that you unlock so that you can gather the required materials for the cooking life, for example. Next up, we have Tailor, which lets you make different clothing pieces and gear. We also have Blacksmith, which is used to create weapons and tools. Both of these are going to be crucial to help you become stronger and defeat stronger enemies, as well as, for example, chop down more difficult trees or mine more difficult ores. Carpenter is to build different items, including home decor. And the new life is Artist. This one is to create paintings, sculptures, and interior design, but I still don't know that much about it. Now, in Fantasy Life, you do have a story that you're gonna follow, but the most fun part, in my opinion, is grinding, getting better, and this happens under ranking up. So every life starts at the Novice rank, which comes with 0 boosts to all of your stats, because this is your starting point. In the 3DS game, when you become a fledgling, you get +2 to your main stats and +1 to your sub stats. And you can reach this rank pretty much after completing or skipping the tutorial quest. After that, you have Apprentice and Adept, which are also going to give you some points to your main and substats. And after that, this is where you really start digging into these ranks and seeing their benefits. So you can get to the Master rank in the 3DS version that will grant you like a little party, and it's going to give you access to Master chests, which can contain some of the most powerful weapons in the base game. After that, you've got your Hero rank, your Legend rank, God in Training or Demo Creator, or God or creator rank. The higher the rank, the more stat points you're gonna get, but most importantly, the more special rank exclusives you're gonna get. Now, in the 3DS version, a lot of these exclusives were tied to the DLC, so I wonder how they're gonna be navigated in this game, so we're gonna have to wait and see. And if this new entry follows suit of the previous game, then your weapons, shields, and life tools also came in different rankings, and these determine their strength and how effective they're gonna be. Whereas back then, the armor and clothing didn't have any ranking. I also wanted to mention the UI. I love how it looks here. We have things like our life level, HP and SP meters, access to our inventory, weather, minimap, active quests, and active weapon. It looks very clean and I love that. I really appreciate it. And if you have a companion with you, you're gonna see their SP, HP, rank, and their life down at the bottom left corner. Now, I've already covered how I feel about the lack of a physical version in the West, so we're not going to talk about that. However, there are some very important things that you need to know about cross-saves, the digital deluxe versions, the prices, all of that. So let me help you with this. There is a digital deluxe edition of the game available where you're going to get the mini Snapdragon mount, limited edition weapons, and other special gear. This also grants you something called advanced access on Steam and early access on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S. This access means that you can play the game 3 days early if you pay more and you buy this edition, so you can play it as early as May 18. The game is also going to offer us something called cross saves, meaning if you have the game on different platforms, you can play on one and then pick up the next one. However, let's talk about that a little bit. Keep in mind that this usually requires internet for the game to sync the save file into the cloud, and you might need to create an account to log into it. For example, Gematsu mentioned that Epic Games' account is required to use cross saves. They're usually on point with what they say, so that's probably what we're gonna need, and it makes sense. For example, if you've played games like Disney Dreamlight Valley, I have that one on both Switch and PC. So when I got it on Switch, I had to make an account, and then when I wanted to play on PC, I also had to log in into that same account. And if I play Disney Dreamlight Valley on one platform without the internet, I cannot sync the save file into the other platform. So I need to make sure that I'm online, and then the game will ask me if I want to access my cloud save or my local save. And I would pretty much assume that the same is gonna be applicable to Fantasy Live's cloud saves. In terms of the digital deluxe items, Fantasy Live's official page on Twitter announced that to use the mini Snapdragon weapons, and iconic outfit pack on another platform via cross-save, you must own either the digital deluxe edition or the edition upgrade digital deluxe, along with the base game on that platform. If you use cross-save to play on a platform where you only own the standard edition, you will not be able to use the bonus content. To access the bonuses again, you need to return to the platform where you own the digital deluxe edition. I think this is a dumb decision. I hate that this is happening. I feel like it's very anti-consumer. However, pretty much all game companies are doing this these days. For example, with Disney Dreamlight Valley, Moonstones that you buy on the Switch, for example, they cannot be used on PC. I don't know if they have changed it, but at least when I played a lot of it, this was the case. So while I am upset about it, I also understand that it's nothing new. However, as I speculated in my previous video, and this is what concerns me right now, if we end up having in-game item purchases, are these also locked into the one platform we made the purchase on, so like Disney Dreamlight Valley? Because following the logic that they have in their tweet, the answer would be yes. But I'm gonna wait and see what they officially state. In all cases, if you want to use the Digital Deluxe Edition bonuses of Fantasy Life on all of your platforms, make sure that you buy this edition on all of your platforms. And on a similar note, I also wonder about the digital pre-order bonuses that have the new Adventures pack items, including the Flutter Charm, which is going to facilitate getting XP, HP and SP potions, power and resistance 8, etc. So for example, I pre-ordered the game on PC, so it's gonna be a shame if I'm not able to access, for example, my Flutter Charm, specifically when I play on the Nintendo Switch, because if I end up buying it for the Switch, it's probably gonna be on the Switch 2, you know, if they announce that, and by then we probably won't have pre-orders available anymore, so we're not gonna be able to get the Flutter Charm, for instance. And this brings me back to a full circle. I really believe there's gonna be microtransactions in this game. I hope they prove me wrong, But based on like these speculations, just like wondering and asking and you know, all of this, yeah, there's gonna be microtransactions. But let's see. I might be wrong. Another thing you gotta be aware of is buying the digital deluxe version grants you the ability to play the game on May 18th rather than May 21st, as we mentioned before. But that is available, in case you missed it, on all consoles and PC except Nintendo Switch. So even if you get the digital deluxe edition when you pre-order your game on Switch today, you're not gonna be playing it on May 18th, you're gonna play it on May 21st. And another thing that you need to know, which was brought up by Gamatsu, it is to access online play, a paid subscription to Nintendo Switch Online, PlayStation Plus, or Xbox Game Pass is required depending on your platform. So this is going to be needed to play with your friends since, if you don't know, you have 2-player local co-op or 4-player online crossplay. Another thing to know is, hello you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. If this video is answering all of your questions and helping you out, consider dropping me a super sticker or donating to my coffee, or perhaps becoming a YouTube channel member so you can enjoy a lot of perks. These videos are gonna be coming left, right, and center. I cannot wait for this game. So also make sure you squish the like and subscribe buttons so you're up to date and you're there from day one. Now, in terms of physical editions in the West, the only way for you to grab it is to visit websites like PlayAsia. However, you need to remember that some countries are gonna deal with the added cost of customs, so do your due diligence with researching the total cost if you're gonna go this route. And based on what we've seen, the game is gonna have the English language option, so you don't have to worry about that. And before I get the dumb comment, which I saw a lot on my last Fantasy Life video, which is along the lines of like, who cares about physical games? Just because you don't care about physical games doesn't mean that everybody else has to agree with you and everybody else doesn't care. A lot of people care about their collections and they want to have their games in physical format. They also care about game preservation. So if you don't care about that, that's okay, cool, I'm happy for you, but don't think that you're gonna be in the comment section trying to dismiss people's feelings and what they care about just because you don't care about it, because I'm not gonna tolerate that. Anyways, with all of this information out of the way, what is the pricing like? So if you get the standard edition, it will be $60 or your regional equivalent, and $70 for the digital deluxe edition. What about a Switch 2 upgrade or Switch 2 edition? On their Twitter account, a lot of people are asking about a Switch 2 upgrade, but I don't know why Level 5 just doesn't communicate. They just don't talk to us. I don't know if they even read the comments. So a part of me wants to believe like, surely releasing less than a month away from such a massive upgrade to the Switch 2, like your company would be planning on upgrades, especially when we know Switch 1 struggles massively with games these days, but I don't know, we're gonna have to see. I got to play a lot of games on the Nintendo Switch 2, and I can safely say it is a massive upgrade from faster loading times to smoother performance. It is incredible, and I'm really worried about Fantasy Life on the Switch 1, so I really hope there's gonna be a Switch 2 upgrade. Future Bubbles here, I was taking a look at Fantasy Life's Reddit page, and I saw that apparently on May 2nd, there is a Level 5 ambassador meeting, so they might be saying something about the Switch 2, and I'm gonna let you know if we learn anything down in the pinned comment. But someone did mention something along the lines like, hey, Layton is coming to Switch 2, so why wouldn't this one be coming to Switch 2? And I think it makes perfect sense. I was saying in this video, as you saw earlier, like it just doesn't make sense. Surely you're working on something, but let's wait and see. And of course, that's gonna pop up a second question, which is, what are we gonna pay for the upgrade? It's gonna probably be between 10 to 15 extra dollars if they follow what other companies are doing. But I already saw a lot of you complain about the game's base price right now, which is the $60, and you said it's too much. But I gotta say, I think $60 is worth it for this game, considering, for example, Fantasy Life on the 3DS and how much content it had in store. If A Girl Who Steals Time follows the same path, you're looking at easily 300 plus hours to pour into this game. $60 is not a lot. But at the end of the day, only you can decide what games you're willing to pay for. And remember, there's always no need to hurry and buy things on day one. You can wait for a discount. And with that being said, I got to play Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma and the new Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, which you can check out next. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible. And a shout out goes to The Game Dimension, Jake Logan, Will, and Neha for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.